Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. We are delighted to have such a wonderful crowd here for this really momentous occasion. My name is Kevin O'Malley. I'm the current chair of the St. Louis County Port Authority. And on behalf of the Port Authority and the St. Louis County government, we welcome each and every one of you here to a momentous occasion where we are going to mark the past, but most importantly, mark the future as to what's going to happen here at the old Jamestown Mall. We are here today because of three virtues, in my view: cooperation, compromise, and compassion. We are able to demolish the old Jamestown Mall today because people were willing to get together from all over the community, elected officials, residents, the business community, in order to cooperate, to compromise. Nobody got everything that they wanted. And to have compassion for the people in this area who live in this area, who work in this area, and who thrive in this area, and we want to make their lives better. There are many, many people who have contributed their talents and their time and their sacrifices to make today possible, and that will continue to cooperate, to have compassion, continue to compromise, to make the future of this area better. Many of those officials will have a chance to speak with you, to speak to you this morning, but there are several other people who worked for us, for you, on this project that I'd like to recognize before we begin the formal presentation. So when I call your name, please stand so that we can acknowledge you and the role that you play in leadership here in our region. State Representative Yolanda Austin Fountain. Okay. So that's my first mistake today. Okay. So let's just not keep track of any further mistake, okay? Okay. We don't want to put off this demolition one more minute if we didn't help it. Okay. Second thing, now I'm getting nervous. State Representative Gretchen Bangert. State Representative Jay Mosley. Councilwoman Rita Days. Hi, Rita. Thank you. Okay, that's two. Councilman Mark Harder. And committee person Gwen Reed. Okay. Now I'm going to go for my third mistake. Did we omit any elected officials? Okay. Okay, we're going to hold it two mistakes. As I said, cooperation, compromise, and compassion are what gets us here today. There were so many people responsible for us securing the funding for this project. It is as difficult to sometimes demolish something as it is to build something. The regulations, the laws, the ordinances, the customs, the traditions that the Port Authority and the St. Louis County government followed in order to have us here this day required a lot of work from a lot of people. So we're going to try to recognize some of those folks today who had a chance to put us in this position. First, our county executive, Dr. Sam Page. I've known Dr. Page. Thank you. Well deserved. I've known Dr. Page for a long time. I first met Dr. Page as a caring, knowledgeable physician before he decided to enter into this roly-poly world of politics, where he has continued to be knowledgeable, compassionate, and caring about the needs of the community that has elected him to serve. Dr. Page was really carried the ball to get us to this point today. We wouldn't be here without his leadership, without his ability to convince people to follow along the way so that we could be here today. That wasn't an easy road. There were people who disagreed at various points and times, and it was his job to listen to them, to work with them, to work with the community, to work with the other elected officials to get us here today. So now, as the county executive, and because of his absolutely tireless efforts, and because of his total commitment to make St. Louis County, and in fact our region, a better place, it is a great pleasure for me to recognize and to introduce Dr. Sam Page.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Kevin. Today truly is a historic day for our region. We often gather under tents like this for ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, and we'll do that again someday, I'm sure. But today, we're gathering for what people have wanted for a very long time, the demolition of Jamestown Mall, a mall that's sat vacant for a decade, attracting crime, and it's been a real eyesore for the folks that live close by and have to look at it every day. And there's an old saying, you know, you have to break some eggs to make an omelet. And in this case, we have to knock down some buildings to create a more promising future for this site. And the sheer size of the mall has, and the cost associated with demolition, really has been the main barrier, and it's held our developers at bay. But because of the extraordinary cooperation between our state elected officials and our local elected officials, we've been able to secure the funding to make this day possible. And I'm sure that many of you here today have memories of the mall, 1 million square feet of department stores, of shops, and restaurants. And since it was announced that the demolition was finalized and the plans were moving forward, residents began sharing their memories of Jamestown Mall on social media. They include shopping at Sticks, Bear & Fuller, a department store that some of you who are closer to my age may remember. And you know, the mall was a popular place for date night, which frequently included taking in a movie at the movie theater. And one woman shared the memories of buying her daughter her first pair of shoes at Buster Brown. And others remembered the mall for perhaps a love connection, finding their future spouse either shopping at the mall or while working at the mall. And even some of those have recognized that they've celebrated 20 years of marriage with their future spouse. And who remembers bringing rolls of quarters to play the arcade games in Aladdin's Castle, or to buy a pretzel or a soda at Hot Sam's? And here in the parking lot, the Boy Scouts held their Pinewood Derby races, and all of the back-to-school shopping and the holiday shopping. Well, you know, Jamestown Mall was the place to be. So regardless of your memories from shopping, or from meeting the love of your life, or from all the other events that led to Jamestown Mall, we're here today to take a step forward and to create a new future for this site of over 146 acres. So there are several speakers on the podium today. You're going to hear from a lot of people about their hopes and their dreams for the future of this site. But the next person we're going to hear from is John Maupin, who is a past chair of the St. Louis County Port Authority and was a driving force to move us to where we are today, here to kick off this demolition. John?
Is that better? Can people hear me better? Good. Thank you. Good morning. And thank you, Dr. Page, for that kind introduction. This ceremony to initiate the demolition of Jamestown Mall and the rehabilitation of these 146 acres for a new and exciting use really should be a celebration and acknowledgement of what can be accomplished when people and organizations work together. First, I'm going to acknowledge the efforts of the Port Authority. I'm only one of 7 members, but we all realized when the efforts to have a private developer build a logistics center here met with neighborhood resistance, we had to take another approach. The Port Authority committed to spend more than $2 million of our limited resources on community outreach and remediation of the unsafe conditions inside the mall. We did this before we had any idea there'd be help from anybody else to help demolish and rehabilitate this property. I want to acknowledge the port members who made this initial commitment and persevered to get to this point. Many are here today. Robert Birdsong, Mary McMurtry, Dr. Bob Butler, Amy Hunter, Mike Hana, Gil Kleinecht, Ruth Lee, Marianne O'Gile, and Ambassador O'Malley. I also want to acknowledge the skill and expertise and hard work of Jackie Wellington, Beth Noonan, and Andrew Rubin, who really shepherded us through this entire project. We couldn't have done it without them. Next, yes, they deserve it. Thank you. And next, I want to sincerely thank the literally hundreds of our neighbors who participated in our community outreach program to express their thoughts and opinions about what this property should become. In fact, I spoke to the gentleman who runs the company that did the community outreach for us, who told me that they had over 4,000 contacts through the website and through personal visits, and literally hundreds of people showed up at these town hall meetings. I've been to many of them that nobody shows up. We had hundreds of people show up to this because the people in this community cared. And thank you very much. It's important to emphasize that no final decisions have been made as to what the site of the soon-to-be former Jamestown Mall, won't it be nice to say former Jamestown Mall? But we know what the community will support, and that will help inform our decisions going forward. Finally, we all know this project is expensive. The Port Authority simply could not have done this project without a lot of help, and that help started at the very top. Governor Parson and his budget personnel recognized the importance of this challenge, and with the leadership of Senator Brian Williams, thank you, Senator, they were able to put in the budget up to $4 million as the state's contribution to this project. But it came with a very important caveat. The state money was not going to be spent here unless St. Louis County stepped up and made a parallel commitment. And that money from the state would have been spent someplace else had the county not stepped up. With the full support of County Executive Dr. Sam Page, and thanks to the enthusiasm and unrelenting boosterism of County Councilwoman Shalonda Webb, this could not have been done. Shalonda's on my speed dial, by the way. Her efforts have been remarkable and should be recognized and acknowledged and thanked. It has taken a long time to get to this point, but we on the Port Authority appreciate the obligations that come along with being the custodians of taxpayers' money, and we will cut no corners for expediency's sake or do anything that is not transparent and literally by the book. That's our mantra, that's how we live. Demolition of the buildings and restoration of this site to turn it into a developable property will take about 7 months. While this project is underway, we on the Port Authority will begin discussions with potential developers so we can be ready to move forward when this project is completed. So, on behalf of the Port Authority, I sincerely thank each and every one of you who have contributed to this very special moment. We could not have done it without your help. We hope the success we are celebrating today can be a blueprint for how to tackle other difficult and daunting challenges through teamwork and cooperation. It really does work. Thank you very much.
So I think I can speak for all of the members of the Port Authority who are here to tell you that without John Maupin's leadership, we wouldn't be here today, okay? He led us through some rough and tumble discussions, some rough and tumble projects, got us to the point where we could advance to where we are today. So we are grateful that he answered the call to serve after having spent a whole career as a well-respected lawyer in town, that he answered the call to get us to the point that we're at now. So, Senator Brian Williams, show me the money, I think is the word that they say. So, Senator Williams has been a friend of this area, a friend of many of us here in St. Louis City and County for years. He has decided to dedicate his life to making our lives better. And no greater evidence of that can be shown that he goes to Jefferson City most of the year and deals with situations that I wouldn't want to deal with. But not only does he deal with them, he deals with them successfully and comes back routinely with money that we need here in order to better our community, our taxpayer money coming back to us. $40 million has been attributed to Senator Williams' work on our behalf in Jefferson City. Now, he's dedicated himself to higher education, among other things. Some of that money went to the University of Missouri at St. Louis for what they call the Campus of the Future, which is going to make our city and our region even stronger than it already is. He's been committed to public safety, to public transportation, to public health. And literally, without his work for us in Jefferson City, we would not have had the money to demolish Jamestown Mall. We literally would not have had the funds with which to do that. So, Senator Brian Williams, come on up here and hear what we have to say.
Good morning. Good morning. I said good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful day in North County, isn't it? Yes. So, really quick, I got to do some housekeeping. So, first, this morning, I had breakfast with my lovely grandmother, who lives right up the street here off of Old Halls Ferry and Vale Road. And then my mama called me and said, you can go have breakfast with your grandmother. You didn't come see me, so I dropped her something off on the way here. You know, this is really personal to me, and I had remarks, but I'm gonna scratch those and just be really brief and quick because the sun's coming up and it's a beautiful day, so we should enjoy it. I stand on the shoulders of so many people in this community. My grandmother, my honorary grandmother, Gwen Reed. If y'all don't know her, get to know her. She's a big deal. And of course, when I went to Jefferson City, I went understanding one thing, that folks in this community wake up every single day and work with people they may or may not like. And we have one sole job, and that is to get the job done and bring things back to our community. Thank you. What's happening here at Jamestown Mall is a big deal. I view it personally as a civil rights issue. This has been a community that has seen this as an eyesore for over a decade. I remember very clearly as a student at Hazelwood Central High School coming up here as that mall started to diminish and going to dine in the food court and see movies. And I remember every Sunday driving to my grandmother's house, wondering how come this building is still vacant? Why is it still sitting in our community? And other communities don't have to deal with this. So today is a really big deal, and I'm just going to tell you a quick story on how we got to this point. Ambassador O'Malley, who has been a great friend of mine and a tremendous advocate, not just for our region, but our country, and has been a tremendous leader throughout the world. So Ambassador, thank you for your service, and has been a staunch advocate for the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. When we came about this, it started with now Chairwoman Shalonda Webb. She came to Jefferson City. She had our personal driver, former Representative Steve Webb, take her there, and she advocated for Jamestown Mall. And at the time, we had just got federal money that was secured through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act. And from there, she was recently elected, and what I learned about the chairwoman is that this woman is relentless. And she didn't come just as the chairwoman. She took off work as an engineer at Boeing to come to Jefferson City and fight for all of you. So it was a no-brainer that we needed to get something done, and we were able to secure the funding. And it's because of leadership of the council, and at the time, Rita was the chair. We have Mark Harder here. We have so many other people that don't get an opportunity to stand on this podium and be recognized for the work that they did. Sam Page, his staff. And we have state representatives here that don't get the luxury to stand up here when I think about Gretchen Bangert and Yolanda Fountain Henderson. Many of our mayors are here that the chairwoman will address. But again, this is just such a big deal for me. I get opportunities to talk about money that we brought to our community, but this is by far the most personal and important one to me because of the fact that we have a direct opportunity to revitalize our community and do something that has not been done before, and that is to demolish the former Jamestown Mall. So with that, I'm gonna leave you all with something that I firmly believe. Anything's possible if you keep God first. And life moves at the speed of relationships. And one thing that I'm grateful for is that I have a relationship with this community. And because of this community, I am who I am today. Thank you all so much. God bless you all. And I look forward to seeing the future of the former Jamestown Mall site. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator, and I think we all join in this comment. Keep up the good work. We need you. We need you down there. So, Senator Angela Walton Mosley comes from a family of elected officials, a product of the public schools here in St. Louis and then Grambling University. She represents the 13th Senatorial District since 2021. And does that and stays with her union membership at the CWA, Communication Workers of America, and has been involved in many projects here in St. Louis County. Senator?
Sorry, I appreciate you so much. Good morning, everybody. How are you? So you all know I'm not Senator Mosley, right? Right. We're very clear on that. I am the Chairwoman Shalonda Webb, the chair of the St. Louis County Council and councilwoman of this district. And one thing that I do, and I do responsibly, is serve this district. I do it with no expectations, not a paycheck nor a title can invest the amount of love that I have for this community. One thing that I always do is do things decent and in order, respectfully and with integrity. And so today's event was about our district, about serving this community. But one thing that I will never do is allow you to be bamboozled, disrespected, or put a feather in someone's hat for political reasons. I don't do this work for political reasons. I signed up for this because I know what's going on in our community, and we had passive leadership that did not serve us well. So I doubled down and took on 2 jobs. Someone told me it was part-time, but it's all the time. I have asked that this be a celebration for our community. But my grandmother taught me a long time ago, if you don't stand up for yourself, they'll walk all over you. They'll use you as a doormat. And some people take my kindness and my southern smile and my politeness for weakness. But if you've ever been in a conversation with me about business, I know how to be firm. I know how to be direct. And I know how to hold people accountable. So, without further ado, I respect the titles of senators, but as Senator Williams said, I came to Jeff City knocking on everybody's doors to support in this effort. I knocked on doors of our state representatives, and they pretended not to be in the office. I knocked on doors to the senator of the 13th district and got no response. But they looking through their logs still to see if I came through. But I don't have reason to lie. I don't have time, and I'm trying to get to heaven. So what I cannot allow, just a turn of the cheek for Senator Mosley to walk up here and to speak of how much she loves this community when she did not work, and in fact worked in opposition to get Jamestown Mall prevented from being torn down to get the $6 million from the state. I'm being honest with you. It's not about a show. It's about being honest. And I know this is a celebration, but I want this celebration to be founded on truth. So you can videotape me, you can put me on social media, but I got the receipts to know what I have done. Dr. Page, I hope you're glad that I didn't wait as you suggested, because we wouldn't have this day today. And even behind closed doors, those who are coming up here saying how great it is, talk behind closed doors and say, nobody cares about North County. Nobody is going to invest in North County. But I was here, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to be respectful until the day you walk me out of here. So I know y'all expecting me to smile with my southern dimple and to wave, and I'm here for all of that. But this morning, I woke up with every emotion fathomable to me. I laughed, I cried, I giggled, I shook with nervousness. The only emotion I did not have was anger. Until at the last hour, I was notified that Senator Mosley was going to speak on the behalf of our community. And then I could no longer be silent. So yes, they may have voted in the last hour because they didn't want to face public humiliation. And yes, politicians don't do this. So I hope you know for certain right now and now that I am not a politician. I am a public servant. I'm here to serve North County District 4. I don't see party lines. I don't see district lines. I see North County. That's my North Star. And I am only accountable to my Heavenly Father. And no matter what people say, I know who I am, I know who I am, and I know who I'm working for. So I don't get shaken. I don't shake in my stilettos. I lead. So now that you know the whole truth, I can let the program resume. Let's enjoy. And Senator Mosley, please come make your remarks.
Greetings, everyone. I am State Senator Angela Walton Mosley, and this is my district, District 13, and I will address some of the lies that was given up here on this podium. I never had Shalonda Webb in my office. She never came to my office. I never seen her. And I never was against getting $6 million for this mall. Why would I? I lived in this same area. Oh. Anyway. I was also acknowledge Mayor Arnold Hinkle, who's here, and also former State Representative and Councilwoman Rochelle Walton Gray, who really is the one who championed this when she was in office. But she received a lot of opposition. But let me go on with my speech. I stand here as State Senator Angela Walton Mosley, the Minority Caucus Chair, proudly representing this district, our beloved District 13. I want to extend my sincere gratitude to Chairperson Kevin O'Malley of the St. Louis County Port Authority for inviting me here today. We are gathered here to celebrate a momentous occasion, the demolition of former Jamestown Mall. This place holds a special place in my heart, as it does for many of you. It's where my mother brought her car to Sears Automotive Shop for tires and brake repairs. It's where my friends, family, and I shopped and enjoyed movies. Even as the mall faced decline, we still frequented the JCPenney outlet. But as the years passed, this mall fell into disrepair, becoming a symbol of neglect. I must acknowledge the tirelessness efforts of former County Councilwoman Rochelle Walton Gray, who championed this cause during her tenure. She faced opposition and funding challenges, but never gave up. Then a global pandemic struck, and our nation faced unprecedented challenges. It was during this time that our remarkable president, Joe Biden, provided vital ARPA funds to governments at all levels. The Senate, recognizing the importance of this issue, allocated a $6 million match to counties' $6 million ARPA funding. I remember vividly the conversations with Appropriations Chair at the time, who questioned the necessity of this funding. My response was clear: yes, Senator, it's long overdue. Today we gather here to mark the completion of something my sister Rochelle Walton Gray began. I am Senator Angela Walton Mosley, and I'm honored to have played a part in finishing what Rochelle started. Let us cherish this moment and look forward to a brighter future for our community. Thank you, and may you all be blessed. And Brian, do you want to address the $6 million as well? Did we work on that in the Senate? Are you going to address that? You don't? Okay. Thank you. I thank you all. I'm sorry for how this turned out. It was supposed to be a celebration, but some people who claim to not want to be a politician, who are claiming not to be politicians, came up and turned it to something else. But I appreciate you all for coming out. I've lived in St. Louis all my life, all of my life, as well as my sister who lived down the street. Church is right down the street on Jamestown Mall. Jamestown Road, cousin down there. All our family is out here. So for someone to say that I didn't want to see something happen here is ridiculous. Nothing short of that. Thank you. You have a great day.
So, moving on, Representative Chantelle Nixon Clark has represented the 67th District here in St. Louis County since November of 2022. She is a product of Hazelwood East High School and Washington University, and she has been a tireless advocate and passionate about breast cancer and breast cancer survival, as she is a breast cancer survivor herself. And she has brought that same passion, that same dedication to representing us as a public servant. So, Representative Nixon Clark.
Good morning, everybody. Let's turn this energy around and give everybody a round of applause tonight. I bought my first herringbone chain from the kiosk here at Jamestown Mall. And as I put out a social media post earlier this week, so many of my constituents shared their stories about how they purchased their engagement ring for their spouse and they got their first taste of Chick-fil-A. And so I thought that was simply amazing. It's been a great morning. I am Chantelle Nixon Clark, the 67th district, which includes Jamestown Mall. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who made this possible, including the St. Louis County Port Authority, my councilwoman, Chairwoman Shalonda Webb, and Senator Brian Williams. Today is a testament of the hard work of many of our colleagues at the state and local level, staff, and all of the citizens who continue to push for this project after nearly a decade of setbacks. Jamestown Mall holds a special significance in the hearts of many, and today we gather to celebrate its history and new beginnings. Jamestown Mall, situated in the heart of North County, was once a bustling hub of commerce, culture, and community. It stood as a symbol of economic vitality and opportunity for the people of this region. The mall may have closed its doors, but the spirit of resilience and community that it embodies remain alive. In the wake of its closure, the fate of Jamestown Mall has been a subject of every discussion and debate. Many have put forth their ideas and hopes for the site's future, and it's crucial that we collectively work together, collectively work toward a vision that benefits the community. Redevelopment initiatives, affordable housing, and retail experiences are some of the possibilities that can breathe new life into this space. Jamestown Mall, though no longer a retail destination, has the potential to be a symbol of rebirth and renewal for this community. Its legacy should not be one to decline, but of transformation and progress. It's our collective efforts and responsibility to ensure that the story of Jamestown Mall continues to evolve in a way that benefits everyone. As we, elected officials, move collectively with one common goal, today is not just a reflection of the past, but it's a first look into the bright future of North County. Thank you.
Thank you for turning the mood around. My dermatologist is profiting from the fact that I'm sitting in the sun back here with my Irish American skin is frying. So our next speaker has, and apparently I'm not the only person that's sitting in the sun. So our next speaker is a very good friend who, again, one of these public servants who answered the call When she was asked to add to her responsibilities as the Chief Marketing and Development Officer for CARE St. Louis Health, responded with a loud yes, and has joined the ranks of the St. Louis County Port Authority and represents this area in that deal. Those of you who live and work in this area are very, very well represented by our next speaker, Commissioner Ruth Lee.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. The first thing I said this morning, especially to my husband when I woke up, was, oh my God, they had me following Chairperson Shalonda Webb. I'm so glad she changed her mind and went out of order. Thank you. I am so absolutely thrilled to be here before you today. As my fellow commissioner stated, I am Ruth Lee. And while I hold the position of Vice Chair of the St. Louis County Port Authority, my heart is deeply rooted in this community. Many of you may not know this, but I just lost my mother days ago. And when Jackie called me and said, Ruth, I need you to speak, can you do this? I said to her, this is too important not to do this. That is why I am here. The wait has been long, but today I stand here with a sense of fulfillment as we witness the first steps of raising this mall, because it has been a long time coming. Our community has patiently endured the presence of this eyesore for far too long. It is time for change. This change that symbolizes the promise of economic development and growth and renewal for our community deserves nothing less. As a proud member of North County, I stand on your shoulders along with my fellow commissioners as we promise to do everything in our power to make sure that our next move for this land is a representative of each and every one of you. We will not do this alone. We chart the future along with you. I promise to be short and sweet because we have a lot to go, but I truly, as your district representative on the Port Authority, thank you for your unwavering support as we embark on this journey together. Thank you.
So our next speaker needs no introduction, but because I'm a rule follower, I'm gonna introduce her. You may have heard of Chairperson Shalonda Webb before. One of the difficulties in dealing with her, by the way, I'm just going to tell you something, a little inside politics, is you never know where she stands. You know, you always have to try to figure out exactly what she's thinking. The great thing about dealing with her is you know exactly where she stands at every moment. She has represented the 4th District here well and faithfully for years, and has recently ascended to become chair of the St. Louis County Council, where she has expanded her abilities to represent this area, in addition to working as an engineer at Boeing Corporation, one of our great St. Louis employers. $22 million has come to the 4th District as a result of Councilwoman Shalonda Webb's efforts on our behalf. They have come from the American Rescue Plan. She has used that money to demo and rehab many other areas in the 4th District. She has worked on food insecurity issues here in this area, and has turned her attention in many ways to domestic violence, a problem which troubles all of us. But it is without doubt that without her, not only dedication, but her skill, we are here today where she has spearheaded passionately, effectively, the demolition of what has been a problem area here. I will tell you, as a member of the Port Authority, that Councilwoman Webb, now Chair Webb, has attended all of the meetings of the Port Authority where this is discussed, and I will tell you that is no picnic lunch. She didn't have to do that, but to make sure that she was briefed in all of the details, all of the progress, all of the lack of progress, all of the fights, all of the agreements, she was there and continually pushed us forward. And for that, she deserves our congratulations. Chair Shalonda Webb. It's okay. We all live in.
Good morning, everybody, again. My Southern smile is here. In all sincereness, I just want to first thank God. I thank God for this beautiful day. I thank God for his protection from danger seen and unseen. I thank God for his grace and mercy that he gives me renewed each and every day. I thank God for favor, because you know favor isn't fair. I thank God for discernment to know when to smile and wave and when to be direct. I thank God for his unconditional love because he accepts me with all my flaws, along with Stephen Webb. I am thankful to God for Stephen Webb because while I can focus on community, he can keep his head on a swivel as my earthly protector. I thank God for Chantelle Harmon Young. And if you don't know her, you don't know me. We work this as a partnership. We don't always agree, but we work this with the goal to serve District 4 with everything, every fiber of our being. I thank God for each and every one of you for taking a chance and selecting me as your leader. And I stand in this role as a servant leader. Again, not about a title, but about what's needed in North County. People always say, it's hard. Oh, you can't do that, that's hard. Oh, you can't talk to that person, that's hard. Look up, everybody. I do hard. I'm a black woman engineer at Boeing for 25 years. I do hard. Not being disrespectful, but being focused, intent, follow through, being accountable, learning how to say, oh, I'm sorry, my bad, I misstepped, let me do it a better way. All that's leadership. So when you just want to get the easy, you might not want to call me. But when it's time for hard, I'm your girl. So I have to acknowledge the Port Authority for taking all my calls, whether they wanted to or not. I thank you all for pivoting. I thank you for your new leadership, your past leadership that understood things are different now. We have to do things differently now. We can't do things because that's the way we always did them. We have to move forward. We need to move the needle. So thank you, Port Authority, for pivoting. Thank you, Ambassador O'Malley, for your leadership, for understanding the value of community and not transactions. I thank Mrs. Ruth Lee, for her accepting my call to the appointment for our district. See, I needed someone that know how to work, that do it with style and grace, but was very effective. So thank you, Commissioner Ruth Lee. And I thank you also, Ms. Ann Hunter. I thank you all because it took all of us working together for this day to come. So I cannot pass on the whole story. So sit back, be patient with me. I'm not only going to get this but one time so y'all can hear from the horse's mouth. All right? Jamestown Mall was the whole reason I ran for election. I had plenty on my plate. I love my career at Boeing. It's been phenomenal. It is phenomenal. But there was a gap in leadership in our community. We had been passively overlooked, and disparities in our community were just growing exponentially. This was an example of it. 10 years? Think about that. 10 years. Not 10 days, not 10 weeks, not 10 months. 10 years. Houston, there's a problem. Thank goodness this Texas girl was in the house. So taking that and championing that, you think people will be sincere and hope and lead the way, but there was a lot of turns and twists that was not straight and forward. And even what people said didn't match their actions. And so I went to my community. And at this time, I want to acknowledge my mayors, the mayors of District 4 that work with me. Mayor Tommy Pearson, would you please stand, sir? Mayor Norm McCourt, is Norm in the house? Norm, stand up, Norm, stand. Former mayor of Blackjack. Mayor Arnold Hinkle, the new mayor of Blackjack. The mayor of Florissant, is the mayor of Florissant in the house? Represented? These mayors wrote letters on my behalf to get a meeting with the governor, because I was calling, but he was like, who is Shalonda? Okay, come on, let's think of something else. Let's get a letter writing campaign together. So they wrote letters on my behalf and on behalf of our community, and we got the audience of the governor. You all may be seated. The governor sat with me and he said, Shalonda, as Senator Williams said, I got you. We understand. We'll work with you, but you got to do your part. County has to do county's part. It's a county problem. I said, okay, sir, what does that mean? Go get some money from the county. No problem, sir. I'll go get that money. Thankfully, the ARPA funds were released, and this is definitely what ARPA needs to be used for, to revitalize the community. So I went to our county executive and I said, Dr. Page, I need $6 million. He said, Shalonda, I don't know if you're going to get that $6 million, but we'll try. I said, okay, all I need is a toe in the door, and I'm going to run with it. I went to my peers, Councilwoman Days. Ms. Days, raise your hand, stand up again, because I don't do this alone, everybody. I learned to take advice from good people. Vice Chair, Councilman Harder, please stand, sir. So I tell you all the time, I don't see county lines or district lines or party lines. I see North County, and Councilman Harder has been a friend. I want you all to know we all don't see eye to eye, but we work respectively together to get the goal done, to move and transform North County. So we voted, and somebody said, wait, Shalonda, wait. I said, not waiting. 10 years, long enough for a wait. Let's press. All I can say is no. I'm not afraid of no. Just say it quickly so I can get to my yes. So Dr. Page, we didn't wait. That's one thing he fusses at me about sometimes, you know. But we moved and we pressed. And then we went back to the Port Authority and we said, guess what? We got you some money and you have the time to make this happen. Work with Mr. Rodney Krim in the St. Louis County Economic Development Partnership. Where you at, Mr. Krim? Because I bother you all the time, too. I'm still coming back for food insecurities. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here, and I'm going to get off, is that we have to work together. We got to stop letting personal get in the way so we can do what we got to do to benefit the community. But believe me, I think I've given you evidence. I will hold you accountable to this community, me included, because we've had enough of leadership that don't work on our behalf, that's trying to advance themselves and not our community. So here I stand before you today with the Port Authority, with the county's office, and all of you as friends and family to let you know that this is just the first step in this process. Don't get tired in good doing. We cannot rest on our laurels. We have more to do, and it's all because you matter. So North County District 4, let me identify who District 4 is. If you work in Blackjack, Bell Fountain, Riverview Gardens, Hazelwood, Florissant, unincorporated out here, you District 4. I call you D4 family. So let's just understand our titles from this point on. And if you don't work, eat, worship, or play in District 4, you can be our cousin. You know, we like to have cousins. You can be our cousin. But as long as you're working with us to help us move forward, we don't have time or space for foolishness. But we have a lot of grace to get the job done and move the needle. So District 4 family, don't give up hope. I said earlier, I have had every emotion today. It was like the birth of a child. I'm not playing. I woke up singing, then I was crying, then I put on my gospel song, Unstoppable. Then I put on Yes, Yes, Lord, I stand in the gap, yes. And then I got crunk and listened to Lil Wayne. Then I had to walk like a queen and fix my crown. And I put the queen on, and Beyonce says, ring the alarm, I'm about to start a fire. This is our alarm, wake up. So District 4, D4 family, don't give up hope. I know it's been a long time coming, but don't give up hope. Because if we don't hope and believe, who else will believe in us? If we don't hold each other accountable, who else will hold us accountable to make sure we have a brighter future? And in all that, if I have not demonstrated anything else for you today, you must be resilient. You must stand when others want you to sit. You must be accountable when others want you to go along and get along. And at all times, remember, I'm a Southern girl. We're going to do it decent and in order. We're going to be respectful and work in integrity and always have our Southern smile and smile and wave. This is for you, District 4. This is for you, North County. We may not always see eye to eye, but this is for us. So don't let nobody count us out anymore. Don't let nobody else tell us what we cannot achieve. No, you can't achieve it, but step back. Let us show you how. And together, we are more impactful than we are alone. I love you. I appreciate you. And thank you for trusting me.
So the last thank yous are to people who serve behind the scenes, but without whom this event couldn't happen. Jackie Wellington and Beth Noonan worked tirelessly on behalf of the Port Authority in order to do things like finding a tent that'll work on concrete during the middle of wedding season. They make everything work. And with the help of our great legal counsel, Andrew Rubin from Sandberg Phoenix, these sorts of projects get off the ground. So let me say one other thing, and then we're going to do some demolition. We get to this point today because of cooperation, compromise, and compassion. Nobody in this room, nobody under this tent, nobody in this parking lot, nobody watching the demolition that we're about to have knows what's next. Nobody knows yet what will work here, and that is the job of us going forward. We do not want to be here 20 years. We don't want our successors to be here 20 years from now tearing down something that we constructed without full support from the business, the residential community. We want something that's sustainable, that we can be proud of, not just something to put up to be in a hurry. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully we will do it with cooperation, with compromise, and with compassion. So that having been said, ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your seats. We're going to move over here. We've got to take a picture, and then I think you're going to hear a little destruction.